I'm Dr. Lisa Liberatore, the founder of Love Michael and US Autism Homes, two nonprofits dedicated to improving the lives of autistic adults beyond the lives of their parents. I'm a board-certified physician for over 25 years. Over the past 7 years, I've dedicated my time, energy, and resources to the development of these nonprofits. Both organizations are inspired by my son Michael, who is now 24. Michael is currently living in a U.S. autism home in Southampton, New York, with 3 friends who are also on the spectrum. Each U.S. Autism Homes program is centered around a faith-based supportive partner, providing a network of volunteers, community inclusion, and access to programming. We aim to have a cluster of homes to help cultivate a friendship circle because we know friendships are priceless. I'm joined by my business partner, Mark Biondi. We are documenting our journey to share and help other families.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the U.S. Autism Homes podcast. I'm here with Dr. Lisa Liberatore, the founder of Love Michael and U.S. Autism Homes, and we are excited to talk about the process of residents getting to know one another as they're transitioning into their home. So, hello, Dr. Lisa. How are you today?
Hi, Mark. Thank you. I'm great.
Awesome. So
happy to talk about this. This is big.
Sure. Yeah. A really big topic, and something that we really got to witness firsthand of the power of it all. So maybe for the listeners, give an overview of the getting to know you process and some of your thoughts there.
Well, Mark, I think this is probably one of the biggest concerns or questions parents have is how do I know, my son or my daughter has been, cared for by me in my home, very isolated in most cases, not many friends. And how do you know who's going to be a compatible housemate going into a house? I think that's probably one of the biggest questions. And right off the bat, we tell parents, this is not a quick process. Like we've seen, it takes about a year. I would say it takes about a year to really have enough opportunities to, with at least the best possible way of knowing who is going to be compatible. Giving enough time for this friendships and relationships to develop, not only between the housemates, but between the parents of those housemates.
Sure. And so there were various ways that we went about this. So let's talk about some of those opportunities that we created for really to facilitate the connection between both the residents and the parents.
Right. Well, during the year, we really tried to choreograph as many different opportunities as possible, so we can see, how people interact in various settings. So we planned barbecues, we planned outings to restaurants. We planned musical events. We planned art exhibit visit, tours, going to the park, athletic events, rowing opportunities, hiking. We really, really try to really provide as many diverse opportunities as possible to have everybody participate. Everybody's welcome, and you can see very quickly kind of who's gravitating towards each other, what things are bringing out the best in the resident in terms of really seeing them joyful and excited to be in those environments. And really that really sets the stage for who would likely be the most compatible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we were learning a lot about the families as well. And I think the families were learning about their sons and daughters as this was happening too, because they don't always get to have these sort of opportunities to see their sons, their adult children now in somewhat social settings, the opportunity to be social themselves. It reminds me of one of the stories where a mom said, I think this is the first time I've actually been able to sit down and have a conversation with someone.
Yes.
So that's
Yes. It was
something
one of the
too.
most beautiful
It was
emails.
beautiful.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
I'd love for you to share a little bit about how families get a little bit of a sense of respite and relief too,
Mhm.
because they're
Mhm.
connecting and over a common bond.
Right. So we set up we had a barbecue, actually in the backyard of the first U.S. Autism Homes house, and last summer, and we invited all the families to come. Actually, the participants who came were also part of our transition class, so that's another thing that we can talk about. But we really set up lots of different classes. Again, different opportunities for people to interact and to get to know each other. So at this barbecue, the parents came with their sons and daughters, and it was the first time for many parents in many years, and that's what that mother wrote that beautiful email. In 25 years, it was the first time that she was able to feel relaxed. She didn't have to apologize for something that her son may have been doing that, was a little bit strange to somebody. She could actually have a conversation with one of the parents in a relaxed way. And she just glanced over and she saw her son sitting in the hot tub with the other guys. And she's like, I can't believe that he's in the hot tub with the other guys. Like it was just so on so many levels a beautiful, relaxing, joyful, and surprising, a very surprised experience for the parents.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a bit about the classes, and I think it's good for the listeners to also understand that there is so much to this program and this project, and really in our objective of these podcasts is to really start conversations. It's a conversation between Dr. Lisa and myself, and we'll have some guests in future episodes. But it's really to start conversations with families out there. So you may hear us reference some things that we can elaborate a bit more on. And really the classes is something it's probably worth just taking a moment to talk about how the U.S. Autism Homes model has a faith-based partner. And that faith-based partner offers community classes where we have an opportunity to bring folks together. So maybe we could share a little bit about that, Dr. Lisa, of the opportunities that the classes provide for this type of getting to know one another in different settings.
Right. Well, the transition class is the name of a class that we've started over a year ago. It meets twice a week, and it's for 4 hours on Tuesdays and 4 hours on Wednesdays. And during that time, we have a special education teacher who works on a material that's really about what it means to transition to adulthood. And we use the phrase, what are things that we can work on to bring more safety, more independence, and joy to the lives of our participants in the home, in the work, and in the community. And that's a mouthful, and that's really a lot of information. And we prioritize what we're going to work on. Actually, Jean, our teacher, prioritize what we're going to work on because we're really working in the land of reality. So in November, we're working on getting ready for the winter months. What kind of clothing should we be picking out? And it really just allows for conversation and socialization about things that are actually happening, are in reality, and gives the participants of the transition class opportunity or platform to really to communicate and to talk and to express their concerns, their likes, their needs, and again all these little micro environments are ways that together cumulatively we really get to know each individual on such a deep level that when we meet to talk about who do we think would be compatible, we really know what are the triggers, what are the likes, what are the challenges, what are the dreams and the hopes for each of our participants, and really that gives them for making a recommendation for who would be likely housemates to get.
And Dr. Lisa, another component to this that we should mention is, a resident compatibility survey, which we modeled off of a college, a freshman entering into residential dorm life at their college. They have some compatibility surveys, and we took a lot of cues from there to create a resident compatibility survey, which I'll actually link to this podcast. And it asks some questions around what's your ideal Sunday night? What are some of your trigger points? It gives some open opportunity for the potential resident to share it. It also talks about sleeping habits. And so we try to get a good idea in multiple ways and offer some opportunities for, real world connection and to observe that, to try to find the best fit. And it's not about all of the residents being exactly the same. It's trying to find the best chance at harmony in the house. So, I'll kick it back over to you for maybe just some advice, some final thoughts for the listeners out there around the getting to know you part of building a US autism home.
I would just summarize it by saying that, our motto and what I tell parents is friendships are priceless. Just cannot put a price tag on friendships. And what we're trying to do is to create lifelong friends and friendship circles. And the friends who are the housemates, they really have to gel, and it has to be, home should be a sanctuary. It should be a place of respite. And so we have to just make sure that whoever's in the home, that there's mutual respect, that nobody's triggering anybody, and that nobody's that people are living harmoniously together, and that there's the right blend of staffing support necessary as well, because the staff ultimately is going to be responsible for four human beings, right? So we want to make sure that that's realistic. This is a long process. It takes, you can't rush it. You need time. You need to take a year. It's not about the house. The house is the easy part. It's bringing four people together in harmony to have a peaceful respite type of home life. And but it's worth it. And like we said, friendships are priceless. And this is probably the most important success in what we've been able to accomplish at US Autism Homes.
Absolutely. And reminding the listeners out there, we're simply sharing our story in the hopes that it helps your story. Part of what we're trying to accomplish here is to create an opportunity to help other families who would like to replicate this model in their community. And we're excited to continue to share with you and to learn with you. So thanks, Dr. Lisa, for all this information and your commitment to helping this community, and excited to continue these podcasts and touch some of the other topics that we have to share. So thanks to all the listeners out there, and we'll see you at the next episode.